What is going on, everyone? It is Charlie from Visokii Entertainment, and it's that time. It's the Senior Bowl. We got our first 37 people accepting invites. This is my favorite time of the year. Real quick, solo show tonight. I'll be going through all the Senior Bowl, all the draft stuff. This is just the beginning of our 2018 NFL draft coverage. But yeah, man. So we're just going to dive in. We got the first 37 acceptances. There's some big names on here. There's some names I've never heard of. And I'm going to doubt most of you have not heard of. And that's what's so fun about the Senior Bowl. You end up finding these guys that you've just never even heard of. And they just go out there, play against the big competition to make names for themselves. Real quick, shout out to the man Dan for this thumbnails. He's been making our thumbnails for a while now. Looking clean as ever. But yeah. So right away, when I look at this list of 37, there's a few names that stick out right away. Right? Dallas Goedert, tight end, South Dakota State. Now, this guy, a lot of people probably have not seen him play, and that's fair. But if you've been covering the draft this year or you've been keeping an eye on certain stuff, you've definitely seen that name. And this guy, he's such a talented tight end, and I'm very, very hyped to see what he can do against this big competition in these corners that we got out there because already off the bat, there's no Joe Schmoes. You know, these linebackers that we bring in to cover him, and I guess maybe corner's not the best thing there. But Dallas Goedert, 6'5", 255. He has potential definitely to go day one. And I think no matter what, he will go day two at the very latest. But, you know, South Dakota State, you never know. Yeah. I haven't watched much tape of him, I'll be honest. But I've seen – I don't know how much tape you can find. But I have seen, like, just kind of games with him, and I've been impressed. So that's why I'm excited to see what he can do in practice. Next one, we got Big Ten, Mo Hurst, Michigan. This is your defensive tackle. In a year where there's a lot of defensive tackles we get hyped about, Mo Hurst is a lot of people's number one. And it's easy to see why. This guy is a bull. 6'2", 282, big dog. You know, this is definitely a day one guy. You know, could slide to day two depending on what happens in this process. But Mo Hurst from Michigan, defensive tackle. This, I think, is the most star-studded name so far to take the invite. And, you know, out of 37 guys, it's good to have your name listed as that if it were me, to be honest. So, you know. That's a big step for him, I'd say. And then another one of the guys I was really impressed with, and then after this, we'll start breaking it into positions. Wide receiver Anthony Miller from Memphis, 5'11", 190. Memphis is in the American Conference, and my God, have they had such a fantastic year. Now, UCF is also in the American Conference, who's undefeated currently as I'm recording this. Who knows what happens with that? College football, you never know. But Anthony Miller, this is the kind of guy where he will make plays no matter where he is at. And when watching Anthony Miller, you know, just he has a presence on the field, and that's the kind of presence that you lack onto. I don't know if I'm phrasing that properly. I don't even know. Last year, okay, so if you're a stats guy, last year for Anthony Miller, 95 receptions, 14 touchdowns. This year, 78 receptions, 14 touchdowns in 2 less games. So if you're a stats guy, he definitely covers the stats for you. I believe he was a punt returner in his junior. Punt returner's junior. Had to double check that. Didn't want to say the wrong thing. But Anthony Miller, man, these receivers this year are fun. And there's a lot to get hyped about for him. So, Anthony Miller, another guy. See, so far these guys have listed a good chance day one. And Anthony Miller, you know, in the American Conference, they can get flack about, oh, did they play real competition? Well, I mean, you find out that competition at the Senior Bowl 100%. So, now what I'm planning on doing is breaking it down by position. I think the most glaring thing right now, you'd start at quarterback. No quarterbacks have accepted yet. But for the fun of it, I'll give my prediction. I definitely think we see Baker Mayfield show up this year. he has all those antics, and that's going to have questions, and he's going to want to meet with those people. And JT Barrett's another good one. I definitely think we'll see Luke Falk. And I don't know, maybe Quentin Flowers for the hell of it. That could be cool, USF. But let's go right into running backs. So right away, we got 2 running backs, Royce Freeman from Oregon and Akram Wadley from Iowa. Royce Freeman is he's kind of the forgotten guy this year. In a class where I think the running backs might be the most stacked this class in comparison. We'll get into tight ends a little more. Tight ends are looking really good. But the running backs have looked outstanding. And Royce Freeman is he's kind of the forgotten man in a way because, if you haven't forgot about him, if you watch West Coast football, you know exactly who the guy is. Excuse me. And I don't see how someone can forget about this guy. But, 4 years. He's been the starting running back. He's a 4-year back. That's just 6 foot 238. And he runs. He looks fast. He's almost 240 pounds, and this guy's he looks like a speed back at times. And I'm so impressed by that. He can also go out and grab the ball with his hands, which is always a plus. But yeah, man, I'm hyped for him. And this is just the beginning of this running back class that we have. And next of the running backs, we have Akram Wadley from Iowa, a guy who earlier, I feel like maybe not too many people knew him, but early in the beginning of this college football season, he started making a name for himself. And he was going out there just doing everything and anything you could ask for running back. So we got 230 attempts this year with, 1,021 yards, 9 touchdowns. He can catch the ball. Akram Wadley, that's a 4.4 average, which in the NFL, if you're 4.2, that's looking pretty dang good. So 4.4 in college, it is what it is. He's in the Big Ten. Just a playmaker. And I think I can see maybe him becoming almost like a Kareem Hunt in a way where he gets forgotten about. Same with Royce. And these guys just show up and they're studs. Well, look at Alvin Kamara. How did he slip through the cracks in the draft? This is a guy I would have been totally cool if the Packers taken with their first pick, Packer fan myself. But instead, he goes in the 3rd round, which is just nuts to me. So far, let's get into these receivers. Now, I think a lot of the big dog receivers are underclassmen, and we probably won't see them at this, but that just opens the door for others. And we've already kind of discussed Anthony Miller. That brings me to my number 2 guy from here, who maybe a lot of people have higher than him, in Michael Gallup from Colorado State, 6'1", 200. Now, if you say anything about, who's he play, what's the competition like, that's a big question. You hear that about everything, and that's why these guys come to the Senior Bowl. But Michael Gallup, against Alabama, looked like a star. And I think that's all you have to – I don't see how you can – even question him, because he is just another one of those guys where he's going to come out there and make every play you need him to. And honestly, what more can you ask from for a receiver? He's going to do everything you could ever ask for. And just a complete stud. He didn't get as many touchdowns this year as last, but he was very, very reliable for the quarterback. I believe he's Nick Stevens. Don't quote me on that, but just a very – I'm excited, man. It's draft time. I'm excited. And I don't know these guys as well as I will in 4 months, as well as I will in 3 months. But from what I've seen so far of bare minimum tape and just kind of watching I haven't watched as much tape as I have watched games this year so far, because we're getting to that tape watching. But then we got Allen Lazard, 6'5", 222. And I know Allen Lazard, actually a lot of people – online like this guy, and I can't blame him. He's one of those guys, when you watch him, he really doesn't break away. He's not a breakaway receiver, which that can hurt you. Don't get me wrong, but he's more of a guy he'll make your plays when you need him to. As Mike, he's a hands catcher. Now, I know he's had a very, very up and down career. At one point, like in his sophomore year, people were projecting him to come out the next year and, oh, he's going to be first round pick. And here we are, end of his senior year. Could he go undrafted? I don't think he will. I think he's definitely day 3. Could go day 2, depending on how this process goes for him. Then our fourth and final that have accepted so far. And guys, there's so many people that accept this thing. There ends up being like 16 receivers or something nuts like that. But we got Jaleel Scott from New Mexico State, 6'6", 215. Now he's one of those. He is got the body, and he's one of those guys. The scouts are gonna be like, wow. Yeah, I think he's gonna blow away the weekend. I shouldn't say the weekend. The week. Practices all week. I think he's going to blow people beyond expectations. And, I don't know too much about him. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. But from what I do know, scouts are going to freak out about that guy when they see him. And then we get to the tight ends. And my God, we have 5 accepted so far, and literally all 5 of these guys are studs. And that's just... we talked about Dallas Goedert, who is just everything you could ask for in a tight end. And also, with tight ends, we get to see them block. A lot of these guys that have accepted aren't blockers. Except for, I think Ian Thomas is a blocker. But, they're not blocking tight ends. They're more of these big receivers. And that definitely applies to Chris Herndon from Miami, 6'4", 252. He's going to come out there. Reminds me of maybe a Clive Walford. Maybe not just because he went to Miami, but I can see that comparison. We got Tyler Conklin from Central Michigan, 6'4", 240. Similar size to Herndon. And another, he's a receiver. He's a big receiver. And someone I know scouts are really big on, Adam Brenneman from UMass, 6'5", 255. Now, you want to talk about a guy who's destroyed his competition around him. Adam Brenneman is your guy. And getting to see him against, these Duke Dawsons, these Uchenna Nwosus, it's gonna be nice to see it. So I haven't watched too much tape on any of these guys. Like I said, I've seen a good amount of stuff from Dallas Goedert, but the other guys, from what I've seen watching and just kind of checking up, they're more receiving tight ends. So let's get into our offensive tackles. And I'll be honest, we got 2 FCS guys, and according to PFF, the best pass blocker in college football. So getting into that, we got Tyrell Crosby from Oregon. In PFF stats, he's 99.2, the best pass blocker in football. And do we have to say any more? I think he's going to come out there. Hopefully, he's given up 3 hurries all season. That's what you want. So he's going to get the chance to fly up these boards. And something like the Senior Bowl always does. We got Brandon Parker, 6'7", 309 from North Carolina A&T. And Timon Paris, 6'5", 320 from Stony Brook. Sherman Douglas. It's no idea who those guys are right now. And the fact that they're there, they're going to get a chance to show up and really get their name out there even more. 6'7", 309, that's a big dude. So when we get to the offensive guards, again, we got Skylar Phillips from Idaho State. So 3 FCS guys right out the bat. Maybe that's telling of this offensive line class again. We already had Connor Williams declare, which is good. And then we get into Sean Welsh from Iowa, 6'3", 295, and Isaiah Wynn from Georgia. Both just, good guards. I don't know much about them. From what I've kind of just scanned over, they're just, just average later round guards. And, if we should expect too much from that, so be it, right? Fullbacks. Do we have any fullbacks in? Actually, we do. Dimitri Flowers from Oklahoma. That's right. This guy's a monster. I love when these fullbacks, and when they get a chance and then go out there and show that they're studs with the big dogs. The fullbacks, that's the forgotten position, man. So Dimitri Flowers from Oklahoma. Heard some good things about him. So now we're getting into the fun stuff, boys. Defense. Right at the bat, we'll start with the ends. And we're going to start with I'm so excited to see this guy. Marcus Davenport from UTSA. When it comes to size, the scouts are going to lose their minds over Marcus Davenport. 6'7", 255. From UTSA, if you heard of a pass rusher from UTSA, you'd be like, I mean, how good can he really be? Marcus Davenport could be one of the premier pass rushers in this class. If you haven't heard the name yet, you will. And many guys in his situation have come here and just killed the week. And I really feel like he's going to be one of those. So, when you think of UTSA, you don't think of elite pass rusher. But I think you will with Marcus Davenport. It takes me to Utah. Kylie Fitz, defensive end, 6'4", 260. I don't know much about this guy. I'll be honest. When I watch Utah play, I never noticed him too much. So, won't give any false info. But Marcus Davenport, that is a name that I'm just so ready for. All right. Ready to see Marcus Davenport going up against Tyrell Crosby already. I'm ready to see it. I want to see what they can bring. All right, so we got defensive tackle. So far, we got Mo Hurst, Michigan. Of course, you all know Mo Hurst, man. Come on. If you don't know Mo Hurst, what are you doing? Actually, you're just trying to learn. I don't blame a man for trying to learn. Mo Hurst is a stud. Justin Jones from North Carolina State, 6'2", 312. Don't know him at all. As we're getting into this defensive side of the ball, some of these guys I don't know too well. I'll be honest. But that takes us to our outside linebackers. Garrett Dooley, Wisconsin. Wisconsin has this thing. All their outside linebackers, I feel like they're just hard players. And he's got heart. And you're going to see that when you watch him play. Garrett Dooley, just much like his brother Vince Beagle last year at this game, I think he's going to make some eyes, get drafted, and hopefully, unlike Beagle, doesn't get hurt. And then we got the other outside linebacker that I think a lot of people are excited for is Uchenna Nwosu. Another guy who I feel like has had a great season. I feel like UCF guys love him. Or USC guys love Uchenna Nwosu. And I see why. The guy's a tank. And, I'm ready to see him go against some of these pass blockers, and just see what he can bring to the table. Again, defense, I'm just not too familiar with, but I'm giving you what I got. Inside linebacker, one of my favorite positions. Oh, something else with Uchenna. They're gonna play him all over because he did play on the line a good amount. They're gonna put him inside. They're gonna put him outside, much like Reddick from last year. Something I kind of remember with him. Inside linebacker, Darius Leonard, South Carolina State, another FCS, and Mike McCray, Michigan, 6'4", 248. I'm not too familiar with them. Actually, South Carolina State. But from what I have seen with Mike McCray, I'm guessing. I'm trying to make sure I got the right guy here. Yeah. Okay. So he's a tackler. Big time tackler. Gets to the quarterback, forces fumbles. He's everything you want, and I don't know, considering I don't know too much about him, kind of hyped to see him get out there and see what he can do. Let's get to corners. Already. There's some out of the corners that have accepted, most people are only going to know Duke Dawson. And that's fair because that's the only guy I know. So, but these other ones we will get into when the time comes. From Florida, 5'11", 208. This is your, Buda Baker almost? Nah, maybe. He's a little shorter. He could play corner. He could play nickel. He could play safety. Where are they going to play him? He's going to play all over here. Where's he going to play in the league? I have no idea. Man. I believe he's got 4 interceptions. I'm not sure about that. From when I've watched Florida, him, Taven Bryan, obviously CeCe Jefferson, all these guys just stick out, and, you know, I'm hyped for it. But in these other corners, man, wait till you hear this. Danny Johnson from Southern, 5'10", 194, FCS. Taron Johnson, Weber State, 6', 185, FCS. Michael Joseph from Dubuque, Division III, 6'1", 180. Excuse me. Saron Neal, Jacksonville State, 6'1", 205, FCS. Chandon Sullivan, 5'11", 195, Georgia State. DeMontre Wade, Murray State, 6', 200. If that doesn't, dude, when these small guys get this chance, the fact that all these corners are from smaller schools getting a chance, it gets me so hyped. They have stuff to offer. And then as we're getting down the defense here, Trayvon Henderson, the only safety accepted so far. And, you know, they'll put him at corner. They'll put the corners at safeties. They play them everywhere. But Trayvon Henderson from Hawaii, I don't know too much about him. Again, you're noticing a trend with these defensive guys. I'm not crazy familiar with them because a lot of them are from very small schools, and or, you know, there's just not many. And I've given you the deets on the big name prospects, the Marcus Davenports of the world. But yes, 5-year senior, as in he got hurt his junior year, his first junior. He just goes out there and makes plays, man. I'm excited to see him. Not much comps for you guys, though. Like, I just really can't give one. Oh, we got a center, Austin Corbett. I think he's actually, being honest, maybe not. Actually, he's not rated at all. Do not know him. And then what? We got a punter, Johnny Townsend, Florida. We got a kicker yet? No kickers yet. But there you go, guys. First 37. I don't know much information about him now. I haven't been able to dive into him as much as I'd love to. This is audio only again. And, yeah, this is just the beginning for this year, man. Into this, that I'm just ready to share it. You know, we did our spotlights last year. Might bring those back. I know some of them, like some guys we were high on, got big responses. A couple of them got over 1,000 views or close to it. So, yeah. Other than that, give a like, subscribe, hit the bell, comment, you know, tell me how much you hate me and my opinions. But if you are still watching, let me know what players you're excited for. Maybe just by me describing them. Maybe by me not describing them because I have no idea who they are along with you. And I didn't do false research to give you a bad answer. But, yeah, that'll do it. Charlie from Visokii Entertainment. Like, subscribe. Peace.